Yeah, TV, Nina Paulo, Quesiga, Nini Jazo, Maro yet mind to kick on Maro doing a yegedi. Well, the solid you get it.
Hello, good morning everybody. I'm making this video to share a few informations that I really feel that I gotta share about what's happening at the moment in the country of Myanmar, because I didn't have the possibility of sharing anything till the very last moment that I reached my country, which happened a couple of days ago. I just came back from Myanmar, and first of all, before I dive deep into the details, I just want to say hello and share all my good energy with the people of Myanmar, and just saying that we are supporting you by 100% about what you're doing. The battle is hard. At the moment it's hard. I feel that I share with you this sorrow about what's happening, but you're not alone. I mean, we are with you 100%. I just want to make clear that in the last period I felt kind of in an awkward position a little bit, because of course when you go living abroad in another country, especially when it's so different from yours, from your home country, I mean, you become part of the culture. You're taught a lot by the people, by the society, by the working environment and everything. So I do consider Myanmar to be like my second house, but for what regards some other concerns like politics and society and history, of course this is not our society, this is not our history, this is not our politics. So I felt kind of this awkward position, because I did want to do something for that. I did want to help, but at the same time I felt like this battle was not ours. So I gotta say sorry about that, because I didn't join any protests, I didn't show myself in public, I didn't support this thing by any means, and this is why actually I'm doing this video now. So this is a message that I have to all the people of Myanmar, that we are with you 100%. So thus said, as probably many of you already know, the 1st of February 2021 there's been a coup by the military party, which is called the Tetmadol, which basically restored all the political power in the hands of general of the Myanmar party, which is called Mingain Lang. Sorry for my pronunciation. I never got good with Burmese names. Anyway, basically what happened is a tragic, absolutely tragic event. Because like Myanmar started its nightmare with military dictatorship in 1962. So we are talking about something like 60 years ago. And before that, Myanmar was actually the richest country in Southeast Asia. But during the military dictatorship, it faced like a major impoverishment, as of course as every dictatorship anywhere in the world. This came along with lacking in freedom of expression, into exploitation, and also of course stealing and killing. The military is being condemned multiple times by the international committees about genocides against ethnic minorities, especially towards the Muslim community. So for the people that lived this situation with the militaries, it has truly been like a nightmare. Like, people in Myanmar do not support them at all. And first there were held some elections in 1988 by the militaries because of some international pressures that of course have effect on the economical side, so on the markets, on the trade market basically. So during that time, the democratic movement held by the Nobel Prize for Peace, Aung San Suu Kyi, won the election. And what happened back then is pretty much the same as what happened now. So basically the militaries arrested all the members of the Democratic Party, Aung San Suu Kyi included, and took the power back. So Aung San Suu Kyi stayed under house arrest for like more than 20 years. After that, like in 2005, the international pressure has become more intense, so that the militaries start what I call some sort of fake roadmap to democracy, which eventually ended up in 2007, 2008, in which the militaries wrote the new country's constitution. So this constitution was made to allow new elections to be held, but while at the same time maintaining the power all in the hands of the militaries, which actually have always been like the strongest force of the country, and this constitution protects them in many ways. So for example, just to mention a few things, they got a right by the law to seize back the power in the country anytime, by any means, under any circumstances, when they feel that there's some sort of threat or danger to the country itself. Then they got like 25% of the seats in the parliament guaranteed just before the election, some sort of extra seats that are always guaranteed, and they cannot be reported, so nobody can report them for their crimes, for the things that they do. So they are some sort of this protected envelope that nobody can touch them. And after doing that, the elections were held, and the democracy, the Democratic Party won by large numbers. So Aung San Suu Kyi got freed, and she became the state councillor, which is not the state president for some reasons that I want to explain right now, but she is the de facto leader of the country. After that, there has been like 9 years of democratic government, which eventually turned out to be like just a phase, a government on the surface, while most of the powers always belonged still to the military party, which control so many things, from public order, of course, going down to like participation in the biggest businesses of the country with international investments. Last year, 2020, in November, new elections were held, and there were, of course, key elections from the countries, because they meant a lot. We're talking about some of the very first elections after decades of military dictatorship. So there was a lot of concern in the country, and the hype was great about the support for the Democratic Party, which is really the party of the people. And they won by a landslide, like 86% of the votes were given to the Democratic Party. So of course it was a great moment for the country, because they were claiming this dream of democracy and freedom and make Myanmar a great place again. After that, anyway, like right before the 1st of February, which is the day of the coup, the military announced that they encountered some frauds in the votes, and they said that they had evidence about the irregularities in the votes for like millions of them, even though they didn't provide any proof about that. So they say that they wanted the elections to be basically cancelled, and they wanted new elections to be held. Of course, like the Democratic Party didn't want that. So the very first day of the establishment of the new government, they made this coup. So we woke up in the morning and there was no signal on the phone, nobody had it. Any internet provider or anything was working, as well as televisions and radio. And that moment, I mean, it was just unbelievable. Like we knew that something was happening at that time, but nobody had any idea about what was happening. But of course, the nightmare of the coup and the comeback of the military party was in the air, and people were just disappointed, to say the least. But the reality is that they were super upset and extremely sad and destroyed by this event. So we didn't have any communication to the outside. We didn't know what was happening. I didn't know about, like, even if the world knew what was happening in the country, until like 5 in the evening, where we got the news that they arrested again Aung San Suu Kyi, the leader of the Democratic Party, and gave all the government and the political power to the military general. So what they did first of all was to arrest Aung San Suu Kyi, the leader, again. First with they condemned her for 14 days of house arrest because of illegal possession of walkie-talkies, the thing to speak in distance, which were said to be imported illegally inside of the countries. So during these 14 days, basically, they got time to change the law in 2 ways. Now they can arrest people without them undergoing any trial, so they can just put people in jail without seeing any judge, any any lawyer, nothing. And not only that, but they, because actually they could do this thing anyway before, but for no longer than 2 years of detention without any trial again. Now there's no limit for that, so basically they can put people in jail for unlimited time. And after this 14 days, Aung San Suu Kyi got a trial for herself, but like without her lawyer, just in a private court. And she was condemned because of violation of COVID-19 rules. So now she's detained for unlimited time, basically. And what happens is that of course the people of Myanmar reacted a lot to that, because of course, I mean, their dreams have been shattered down by the events. They were proven to be completely wrong about this change in the power of the country that actually never happened, and everything always stayed in the hands of the militaries. But now we're talking about 86% of the population, so basically everyone, which needs to face again this nightmare of the dictatorship, while their willing is exactly the opposite. So yeah, there are at the moment many protests going on. The country is already facing a lot of restriction. I think that at the moment there are like 700 people who got arrested, even though the protests always went absolutely peacefully. The journalists have been arrested, all the members of the Democratic political party as well, and the social network have been blocked, as well as, for example, the internet connection doesn't work from 1 in the morning to 9 in the morning. This is just to guarantee that the businesses can keep working, basically. But all the protests at the moment are organized via Facebook, because many people can still connect to the social media via VPN services. So they completely shut down the network every day in the morning, not to allow people to organize for the protests. So what I saw through my experience is that this sense of danger and complete uncertainty about the future, it's just horrible, and you feel like nobody can guarantee for your safety, like that anything can happen at any time. For example, they freed now 23,000 detainees in the prisons. They give them amnesty, so this way they can create chaos in the country, and so that they can justify the presence of the military inside of the country. So for example, in some of our teachers' villages, there were some houses burned down and some people killed, because of course these people coming from the jail, probably they got revenge, and maybe they were also paid by the militaries to do crazy things. Oh, I got a flare here. Wait. So at the moment, when you walk in the streets of Myanmar, you can see like protests pretty much everywhere. When we got to Yangon on Monday, which was last Monday, which was the biggest day of the protest, I just couldn't believe what I saw. Like, there was no one person not protesting. like everyone from taxi drivers, shop owners, mothers with children, and old men, old women. Everybody was just chanting the song like the one that I put at the beginning of this video, and wearing red clothes and showing the sign of the protest of the civil disobedience movement, which is the 3 fingers like that. And everybody was just protesting. So it is this pretty emotional thing, because you feel like a country that like is facing something huge, and they gotta undergo a situation they do not want, but they got very little power to change these things. And the sense of unity that you have from that, that's just amazing. This happens also at 8 o'clock in the evening every night, because now the military is like established a curfew from 8 o'clock to 5, I guess, in the morning. And this for many reasons, but especially because they can go and kidnap and arrest the people in the night, and nobody can follow them. So nobody knows where they're going, because nobody's allowed to go out of their house after 10 o'clock. And this has nothing to do with the virus. This is just because of the military coup. So basically at 8 o'clock every evening, the people go outside of their houses, just in front of them, and they heat their pans with their sticks. So you can hear everywhere, from the smallest villages to the biggest cities, the entire country from north to south, from east to west, just hitting their pans as a sign of protest, like, hey, we are here, we don't want you, we want our freedom, free our leader, free our mother, Aung San Suu Kyi, and let democracy be in the country. And this is just wonderful. I mean, it's something that makes you very emotional, and it shows you a country that has very little means, but they're doing everything they can to free themselves. You can see, like, from the kids staying at the window and hitting on the pans, like thinking that's a game, to like the worried man staying in his backyard, like waving a bell, afraid to be seen by someone, so just like putting the head out and ringing this bell. Really, everyone, that's a sense of unity that is just amazing. And basically the problem with these things is that the battle, in order to be won, there has to be tremendous international pressures, not actually coming from the Western countries, but mostly to the countries that are in the nearbys of Myanmar, like Thailand, like India, like China. But the problem with that is that India and China are actually supporting the militaries. So as long as they're going to be like under their protection, there's very little chance, as I see this thing. So the people really got to keep up with that. So people of Myanmar, please don't stop. You can be an example for all of us. I know the battle is hard, but that's the right cause to fight. So they got big players playing out in this battle, which complicate the things a lot. So yeah, I just wanted to share a few things about what I experienced, because I do want to do my little part, even though I know it doesn't mean much, but at the same time I can share some information with the people here and show to the people of Myanmar my full support about what they're doing. This is really a good cause, and I really wish them to be able to overturn this course of the events. Even though it's hard, you got all our energy, and we are with you, people of Myanmar. So be strong. The situation in the country, I mean, there is a lot of pressure at the moment. There's a lot of tension. It's hard. I mean, people are suffering from that. There's a mix of feeling of danger and threat and hatred and disappointment, of course, as you may imagine, like how things like that needs to be. Myanmar is a beautiful country, inhabited by beautiful people, very peaceful, very friendly, very simple, very genuine. So they do not deserve that. I really wish that Myanmar can become a great country again. It got all the potential to do so, but we got really a big problem in front of us. So once again, to all my friends in Myanmar, I wish you all the best. That I want to say to you that I'll be always with you. Keep the civil disobedience movement going and don't give up with that. We are with you. Tata.